in my own mind, I was not an informant. I was not and am not a rat.
What up, y'all? It's Papa Z, and I'm back with another video. I did a video yesterday that I dropped, and it was with Al Sharpton, with him throwing shade on Trump about stereotyping black problems like mug shots and tennis shoes and all that stuff to get the black vote. And I've been, I was going through my comments, and the comments it was a lot of mixed feelings. Some saying that Al Sharpton was good for the community. Some saying that Al Sharpton was a federal informant. Now, it was more of the people in the comments calling him a federal informant. So I said, you know what? Let me check that out, because I'm not well versed on, Reverend Al Sharpton. Only the things that I see that he does as far as showing up to big things, because of money. And that's what I believe. So I went down the Al Sharpton's rabbit hole. And I was surprised, man. I seen a lot. And, I'm like, well, let me do a video about this, because, some people don't know, his past. And, him trying to, throw shade on Donald Trump about the things that he's done. Let's turn the mirror around and look at Al Sharpton and the things that he's done in the past. So me, doing some research, he was a federal informant, CI-7. That was his informant name. And, of course, when you're being called a snitch, a rat, of course you're going to deny it. He's saying that he didn't know that he was being an informant. But, you admitted to recording conversations. You ran to the feds because you said that they were the mob or whoever was threatening to unalive you. Let me say it that way.
The Reverend Al Sharpton, identified as confidential informant CI-7, now admitting he wore a wire for the FBI. He helped the government go after boxing promoter Don King, music executives, and mobsters, including Vincent the Chin Gigante, who famously wore his robe and pajamas in public.
I was cooperating.
Sources say that cooperation likely started after he was nabbed in a drug sting caught on video. Helping the feds may have helped him. But Sharpton says he went to them because members of the mob wanted him dead.
They were threatening to kill me.
Anybody in their right mind know if you're recording something and you take it to the police, and that is called cooperation. That's called snitching. That's called ratting. No matter how you try to word it or however you look at it, that's what it is. So you ratted or snitched on Don King, a few record execs, and then the big one was the mob. Then come to find out the reason why you ran to the feds is because you saying allegedly that you didn't know it was a drug deal. You got caught up in a drug deal. So you went to go help, on some of these cases to save your butt. And I'm not on here to try to bash Al Sharpton. I'm here to let you know you can't call the kettle black, man, when you got a bad past too. You know what I'm saying? You pointed out Trump was trying to incite a riot, and he's trying to get the black voters by stereotyping black people issues. So basically, I'm saying, what makes you credible, to speak for black people when you got a bad past? You know what I'm saying? Answer me that question. What makes you credible? I'm quite sure you got a mugshot out there. You know what I'm saying? You was arrested and all kind of stuff. You know, and then at the same time, you want to be, you're reverend. You know what I'm saying? A black activist doing all this stuff. So you can't go around calling the kettle black when you are under scrutiny. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, I'm gonna let you hear how all this took place with him getting caught up with the drug deals and setting up Don King and recording through a black briefcase. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just listen to this. All right, I'll be back.
Yeah, I had a big undercover operation on me at the time. Obviously, I didn't know it, where an FBI agent, undercover, and an informant that used to work with Muhammad Ali, they were trying to target the boxing industry for illegal gain. And so they got to me somehow through somebody I knew, and they were trying to get me to set up Don King, and they were trying to put us both in a problem and see how we were fixing fights and how, we were doing things we shouldn't have been doing in the fighting game. And Al Sharpton, who I knew very well at the time, was my liaison between Don King and myself. And Al Sharpton at the time, he was a gun for hire. We needed him to do some things with his own people, which he called them at the time. We hired him to do it. We used to pay him. He was valuable in the music business because the Norby Walters, the guy I had at that time that was booking all these acts, we'd send Al out to meet with the act that he wanted to book, and Al would bring him to us for a price. That's how we used him. So I know Al very well.
Okay. And what happened with Don King?
Well, they had an undercover operation on me for about 8 or 9 months. But I was very leery of these guys. I was very careful how I worked with them. And I eventually brought them to Don King. But in the first meeting that I had with King, I said, look, I can only trace these guys back maybe a year. I said, so in this first meeting we have, don't say anything illegal. Play it straight. So everything across the board. They want to invest money, they'll invest it with you. We'll get into the fight game, but don't talk about anything you shouldn't be talking about. So we had the meeting, and he did it exactly like that. What happened was, and it was a big case, we called it shadow boxing. That was Sports Illustrated wrote it up. It was a whole big thing. What happened was they tried to continue. They were trying to get the money to give to Don. It was going to be a lot of money at the time. And they had, I believe, 81 tape recordings of me. They turned it over to the U.S. attorney at the time, and none of those tape recordings worked to have me indicted. I didn't say anything on them that would hurt myself. So they eventually had to close it down, and it went nowhere. But the only one that got in trouble over that was Al Sharpton, because he tried to do a drug deal with the agents. And then he became an informant after that, 100%, no matter what he says. He was an informant. He tried to do a drug deal. They got him on tape doing the deal, the whole bit.
So now, you guys heard what Mike said. Do you guys think Al Sharpton was the one who was trying to rat on him with those recordings? I'm going to leave it up to you guys to think, because he did say that out of those 81 recordings that he didn't incriminate himself. But Don King got caught up in a drug deal trying to take a cut from one of those people's money. But just the message here today is basically, don't be calling the kettle black when your kettle is burnt like hell. You know what I'm saying? You got a snitching jacket, you got a rat jacket, you got a cooperation jacket. And you can say all that you want that you wasn't ratting or snitching on nobody. Because even Stevie Wonder can see what you was doing was cooperating with the feds. Y'all leave it down in the comments, man. Let me know what y'all think about this video and about Al Sharpton and his suspicious activity that he's trying to deny. You know, just be careful on the things that you wish for on people, because the mirror might be pointed right back at you, Mr. Al Sharpton. All right, so like I always say, protect yourself at all times. Keep your head on the swivel. God bless you. God bless America. And I'm out. Papa Z. Peace.
The conversations were recorded.
And there's also the issue of how he became an informant. Some say he was pressured into it after he was caught in a drug sting. This HBO undercover sting video that aired in 2002 shows Sharpton with a cowboy hat pulled down over his bouffant hairdo. Sharpton appears to nod when an agent offers him a cut from future drug sales. While the feds say his information helped bring down guys like Gigante, Sharpton says he didn't know how his information was being used.
I have never met any of these guys. The guy with the pajamas, I don't walk around with guys that walk outside pajamas. I never met these guys. I was cooperating with investigations. The conversations were recorded, and I would record them today if somebody threatened me.